We have SWAT, we've got black vehicles. We've all kinds of military vehicles. We've got folks in camouflage and bulletproof vests. They're all entering this subdivision in Hickson right now. We're grabbing video as it stands. The road is being sealed off. His home, his house is actually just behind me here in these woods. There's a lot of intrigue, a lot of confusion here in this very quiet subdivision in Hickson. A sustained police presence. In the last 45 minutes, we've counted over a dozen police cars have rushed in here. We believe they are going to the home of Yusuf Abdulazeez, and we believe that his son, Mohammed, is possibly connected to the shootings that happened earlier this afternoon. We're all over the city trying to make this the most compelling and the most engaging, give you the maximum amount of information we can about this story. Jamal, you've been talking to folks on the ground here, neighbours, family members, friends, these kind of people who know this family. What have you heard? Now, residents told us they saw lots of SWAT members surrounding the home earlier, and that the gentleman's sister and grandmother were taken out of the home. But for now, reporting live less than 30 feet away from the suspect's home, this is James Mahan for WDF News 12. The entire focus was on this house. And we now know that the suspect's, what we believe is his sister, was inside the home, possibly his grandmother inside the home. We've pictures, exclusive pictures from neighbours who confirm what we think is the sister being handcuffed and led out of the home.
We saw the picture, we've been pulling that up on the air. There it is.
There it is right there. And the reality is that this is an incredibly quiet suburban community, a really quiet, proud community. Flashing lights and armoured vehicles surrounded what is a normally quiet subdivision. Family friends never thought their 24-year-old neighbour, Mohammad Abdulazeez, would ever be connected to acts of crime or terror.
They just used to play flashlight tag with him growing up. You know, my brothers were really close with him. Both of them knew him pretty well. And my brother Mark actually saw him 3 years ago and they talked for a little bit.
Neighbours describe Mohammed and his family as kind and welcoming, but their home as dilapidated and run down.
They did say he was very religious, him and his family, and that he seemed like a good guy growing up, so that's about it.
Seemed like a good kid, quiet kid, not any problems in the neighborhood or anything like that.
McDaniel knew the Abdulazeez family personally, but said they kept to themselves.
I seldom see them.
Do you know how many brothers and sisters there are?
I think there's like 2 sisters, and then the dad and mom are all very nice.
And these pictures show family members being taken out by federal agents. Young, old, male and female from all parts of Chattanooga, the South and the world gathered in prayer at the Gun Barrel Islamic Center. Media from England, France and across the US were also represented. The Islamic Centre here at Gun Barrel Road can confirm they received a phone call from a distressed family member yesterday after the incident happened.
He was in the dark on what his son has done, and he's very devastated.
Isa was one of the first people Mohammed's father, Yusuf Abdulazeez, called after yesterday's shooting. He has also been working with the FBI over the last 24 hours, trying to establish what led to Thursday's terror attack that left 4 Marines dead.
Actually apologized for what his son did to the community in large and to the Muslim community. And I told him that we all feel distraught, we all feel shocked.
Just 30 miles away at the Dalton Islamic Center, a former US Army corporal mourns with his childhood friend, a prominent member of the Georgia Islamic community.
There is no need for anger or hate or resentment at this time. We just need to open up a dialogue with our neighbors of the Islamic faith and come to a level of mutual respect and understanding for the situation.
Patterson came to the Islamic Society to mourn, while hundreds of Georgia Muslims cancelled their Ramadan celebrations out of respect.
We would usually see 400 to 500 families attend the mosque. There was not even 100 families here, where you would see people gathering outside and, playing in the playground.
Quiet, well-spoken and a lover of dancing are how friends remember Ariel Bradley.
not someone who turns to Twitter with this post, endorsing the actions of Chattanooga's domestic terrorist, Mohammad Abdulazeez.
She came back with a baby one day. I saw her at the mosque. That's probably the only time I've seen her since she came back. And she said she lives in Sweden, and she's happy.
Musa employed Bradley at his restaurant, Universal Pizza and Deli, before she decided to leave for Europe. But this was not her last move.
They're going to Syria where their president is killing them, and these fundamental Muslims, they come from everywhere. I don't know who's behind them. They don't represent Islam to me.
Bradley grew up on this quiet Hickson subdivision, but moved more than half a dozen times. Ariel's former boyfriend, David as he'd like to be known, is now based in California, but shared some very troubling stories with us about the young girl's childhood here in Chattanooga.
She grew up in a house with radicalized evangelical Christian mother who was an obsessive pack rat and had insane fundamentalist beliefs.
David added that Ariel struggled with basic math and literacy and moved jobs regularly. They lived on and off together at this apartment complex in downtown Chattanooga.
I think it's a terrible thing for anybody to celebrate that. So, I wouldn't say she was a tenant of ours. I think she lived with somebody that was a tenant of ours.
Concerns over a DUI, growing depression and possible drug use all plague Chattanooga terrorist Mohammad Abdulazeez, according to family friends. The Chattanooga Islamic community say they are here to help, regardless of someone's faith, age or background.
That he or his family never showed any signs. His father being a member here, we never seen any signs from him or his wife that they have been having trouble. They did not come to the imam.
Counsellor and mental health expert Ed Durow believes growing social pressures are making young men act out in violent ways.
The common thread I see with these young men, including gang members here in the U.S., is they're feeling very disempowered and very disenfranchised. And when they turn to violence, they feel powerful. And that is what attracts them to it.
Abdulazeez was arrested on April 20th facing a DUI charge and, according to our sources, had been struggling with recreational drug use.
I think extremism is its own red flag. What websites are they visiting? What kind of posts are they making? What kind of plans are they making? What does their social life look like currently? That's a much better indicator.
The Islamic Center of Chattanooga are now turning their efforts to helping the victims' families with 2 funds set up.
For long term, for the children of the stricken Marines, and then one for the short term relief for the families. So we've been gathering from the community.
Now, so many areas of Chattanooga were affected. You mentioned Damnicola, you mentioned Lee Highway.
Yes.
We were in Cleveland earlier. There was concern in Athens.
Yes.
Nothing spreads faster than fear.
Yeah.
And we saw that today in the eyes and the lives of people that we live with, that we work with, and in that community of so many older people. And what was very, very upsetting was to see so many Marines, retired US Marines in their 70s and 80s, standing in disbelief, do what he felt was his duty to his country, because he wasn't able to fight for his country anymore, but he felt, I can give my own blood to those who need it.
Wow.
An incredible man, really incredible man. And so many people turned out, such a mix of people over here in Blood Assurance on Gun Barrel Road. And that's probably one of the most compelling parts of today. It's been a marathon of a day, an exhausting marathon, but so many people have come together. We saw so many children helping their parents, helping their grandparents, handing out waters, giving water to police officers.
Wow.